XR and AR glasses are one of my favorite tech of 2024, so of course I took all the time that I had to visit the booth, and in this video we're going to talk about the 4 companies that I'm familiar with that populates the AR and XR space and what I've seen at CES 2025. Starting with Viture, which goes completely the opposite to what I just said because I didn't see them, and I asked a lot of people, nobody did. Glasses I had on my face just a second ago is the company that introduced me to the concept, but I still want to talk a little bit about them because they recently just released their new neckband Pro. It's Android based and it gives you an interface that you can navigate, so you can install apps, you can watch movies, you can go on YouTube, you can do all these things without the need for another device, and you wear this band around your neck that will give you a full immersive experience. And that's one of the things that I addressed in my original review, that I felt there was a disconnect because that was an option that at the time I didn't even know existed, and as it turns out it did, and now they have released a newer version that just came out. In fact, I think they're still shipping to the people who pre-ordered their unit. Now unfortunately they were not at CES at all, so they were not able to display the tech. However, there is still one way that, in my opinion, Viture up to this point completely differentiates itself, and it is with the electrochromic film, which I talked about in their review. And this is a button that you can push that will go from having a slightly tinted glasses to an almost 100% black glasses. If you spend a lot of time outside, or if you like to use these on your porch on a sunny day, it's for sure the best option there is. And you also don't necessarily need to use the cover, which you can, but you don't have to with the Viture Pro, because you can just rely on the electrochromic film. Because this is their standout feature, I feel like they're gonna keep that, or at least I hope they will. So if this is something that sounds appealing to you, just know that at this point in time, and as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, no other companies offer that feature. You probably have other means to recreate that if you don't care for having the ability to see through. And I'll be honest, most times when I'm using my glasses, I just don't need to see through them. I want to focus on the screen that is in front of me in the glasses. But if you'd like to be able to get up, go grab a glass of water without disconnecting with whatever content that you're consuming, that is the kind of possibility that this feature unlocks. I'm pretty sure at some point they were best in XR glasses at CES. I don't know if it was 2024, 2023, but I know they've done it in the past. I'm curious to see what they'll announce throughout the year if they have new models coming, but their competition definitely are. Which, talking about, we're going to move to the next, Rokid. Now, Rokid is a company that I knew by name, but I had no knowledge of their products whatsoever. And I addressed them a little bit in my recap of day 1 of CES, but I got to visit their booth again during the actual CES trade show. Rokid seems to be the better door of entry. If you're looking for something that is potentially more cost efficient, Rokid seems to be the option that you want to go for. But with their newer model, which right now I believe they just got out of the pre-order phase, I was really impressed with, one, the quality, the sharpness in the glasses, which I would say is better than both the Air 2S that I reviewed as well as the Viture Pro. You also had this little thing that you can pair with, similar to the neckband from Viture, but for them it was kind of a phone, and you could use that as a pointer and you could click on it, and that was a full Android operating system. You were able to boot apps, but you also had a triple screen feature, which I thought was amazing. Your screens are stationary, contrary to XR AR glasses. If you're familiar, when you move your head, the screen moves with you. So by having an operating system, they're able to hold your screen in 3D space, so to speak, so you can turn your head and the screen will remain in front of you. And this is something that the Rokid newer model did. And then of course you could have screen that was your YouTube video, another screen that was the text that you're typing, another being the browser, which was a pretty neat feature and something that I can definitely see myself using in both a productivity setting as well as keeping something off to the side that I'm listening to. For example, if I'm watching a Netflix show and at the same time I'm typing a script, I could do it all in these glasses. And to know that you just have this little box to operate it all with was phenomenal. So definitely, if you are interested in what I would consider to be a cost-efficient point of entry because you want to experience XR and AR glasses, Rokid seems to have a pretty compelling solution, especially as a full-form, fully developed solution. So definitely look out for Rokid in 2025. I'm really excited to what they're bringing to the table. But next is the exact opposite, the Xreal One Pro model. and wow. And this is actually the only one, and I was so happy because capturing inside those glasses is so hard, and for some reason I got it first try. I was so happy. You had a huge, and when I say huge screen, what felt like, I want to say even more than 32:9. I don't know what the aspect ratio was, but it was huge, and it was a full operating system, and I was able to pan left and right. And the crazy thing with the Xreal glasses was that it was only plugging into a device and the glasses was doing everything. So that was really shocking in terms of having what I would consider the most advanced in glasses experience. For sure, Xreal delivered. In terms of getting what I would probably consider to be the peak experience at this point in time, I feel like Xreal is the company bringing it to the table. They really had an extremely concise experience. The booth was beautiful, by the way. There was a lot of people excited in their products, and I never got to experience Xreal before CES, but I gotta say, now I understand why. So they don't necessarily have the electrochromic film experience, but as far as just giving you the full package, I think no one else does it for like Xreal so far. Definitely, if you are familiar with the space, if you don't care, you just want to go for the most premium, at this point in time, the Xreal 1 Pro is the one you want to go for. And lastly, another company that I've covered on the channel, the RayNeo, and that's another one that I got to spend a fair amount of time with their booth. They even gave me a private tour, so I was super thankful for that. And they had two options. One was the RayNeo X3 Pro, and we're going to talk very quickly about them. But the idea here is that they had, and I hope I say this right, the bifocal lens screen. In a nutshell, if you've seen the Meta Connect in late 2024, they had these Orion glasses. It's the same concept. You have a lens that is completely see-through. You can just put it on your head and see straight through it. And then when you power it, this little screen comes up. And there was this translation feature where the person that was giving me the tour would speak in Chinese and it would translate automatically. I asked what operating system, if it was a custom operating system, and they said yes, there's some custom elements to it, but it was running on Android. I had to ask, can you sideload APKs? And they did say that yes, it is a thing. You can do that. So that could be amazing for having something that feels a lot less heavy on your head and gives you that seamless experience thanks to those bifocal lens. I'm gonna struggle with that word. Anyways, all that to say that while they cannot guarantee the efficiency, the quality control with side loading apps, I was told that technically it would work. So this would be a trial and error kind of thing. They're not sure exactly when and if that's gonna launch, but right now they wanted to showcase their progress in terms of that technology, and I gotta say I was shocked. If you think of XR and AR glasses and VR, which is a completely different thing, I find VR takes you deeper into that immersiveness, and these glasses that I've seen kind of takes the immersiveness away a little bit, but in terms of comfort, in terms of just productivity, in terms of augmenting the real world rather than sitting into a cozy and intimate viewing experience, I find the X3 Pro was just a step above everything else I've seen. But you do sacrifice certain things, like it's not as immersive because you will see the surroundings. It will not block your field of view as it would in most AR and XR glasses. But they had another model, and that is one that can potentially compete with Rokid's price point of entry, the RayNeo Air 3. These glasses were the Air 2S, lighter, better, brighter, and less expensive. That is definitely what I will consider without a doubt the best point of entry when that releases. And if everything goes according to plan, from what I understand, this should release in Q1 2025. Those glasses were shocking in a good way because you have a much better clarity on the edges, which quite frankly is the case with almost every models that I've tested. But to think that it was going to cost less, that it was just an overall superior experience, is basically them doubling down on what they did great with their previous model, but just improving on every aspect of it. In my reviews, I've mentioned how usually for me, I put the glasses and I find the edges to be a little blurry, but after a certain amount of time, it kind of settles down and it gets better. Well, the Air 3, immediately, the moment I've put them on my head, it was clear. So that's one that I'm also very excited to see what it's going to bring to the table, because ultimately, assuming that the information I was given is exact. We're looking at a pretty compelling price, and no, it doesn't have all those augmented features software, but that doesn't stop you from grabbing a pocket TV if you want that. You also have a lot of other devices that you can connect with, retro handhelds, for example, the Nintendo Switch, although you need an adapter. Your phone is probably the best way to experience AR XR glasses on a whim, and this is why I'm making this video. The way I thought AR and XR glasses was going to move into 2025 was basically just, oh, it's a little bit better. Oh, we got slightly better lenses, we got slightly better this, slightly better that. And while yes, the RayNeo Air 3 is that, it's not just a little bit better. It's actually quite a considerable leap, and a lot of things in that model that I tried eliminates a lot of the friction points that consumers had. So that, I think, is definitely going to be one to look for. And then you have options that just completely pushes the narrative, like the RayNeo X3 Pro, like the new Xreal, which I'm pretty sure they're taking pre-orders. Yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of the breakdown on what's happening on XR and AR glasses, and what I come to understand, and I hope that you're taking away from this video as well, is that it's moving a lot differently than I thought it would. And what's interesting is they all seem to have like slightly a different lane. Yes, the product segment kind of all comes together, but they seem to all have a different approach as to how they want to tackle the market. So that's going to be very interesting for consumers, and eventually, who knows, maybe we'll have an option that takes all the greatest that the market has to offer and offers you that premium most solution. We'll see. Anyways, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, make sure to drop them in the comment box below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.